Okay, welcome back to Fast Ship Performance there. My name is Tim Davies, and today, OMGGF, you are not gonna believe 14 Squadron in the Royal Air Force have decided, through their infinite wisdom and superior naivety, to get rid of their name, the Crusaders, which they've had like forever. We're going to have a look at it today, go through some newspaper articles. We're also going to have a look at who the boss of Waddington is. Yeah, you better watch yourself, Dutchy. We're going to have a look at 14 Squadron itself. I'm going to show you some major concerns that I have with the Royal Air Force at the moment. And then we're going to head over to Twitter just to look at a few comments on there because I think it's important. RAF Squadron drops Crusaders nickname after complaint it is offensive to Muslims. Oh, it's offensive to everyone right now. Just anything is offensive. What's offensive? This mouse is offensive. This pen is offensive. This box here is offensive. The bell here is everything is friggin' offensive. I'll calm down now so we can go on. A review of historic terminology is ongoing and it's understood there may be further changes. Oh, I've got this theory and I want you to stick with me a little bit because I believe the world is like it is because of, I'm going to say it, women. And I want your opinion on this in a second, by the way, because a lot of people in the comments are much more cleverer than me. An RS Squadron has dropped its Crusaders nickname following a complaint it is offensive to Muslims. Oh, they are victim. I mean, I'll be fair with you. If there was one victim sect in society at the moment, it seems to be a certain element of Muslims, actually, in the UK, most definitely. 14 Squadron, one of the RAF's longest serving and most senior squadrons, achieved the moniker after its airmen flew sorties over Gaza and Palestine during the First World War. Now, I want to just bring up a map real quick. Right, this is somewhere called the United Kingdom, Great Britain, Isles of Great Britain, whatever you want to do. If you go up here to where Elgin is there, and you zoom right in, you find a base that I was at for about 5 years, and it's called RAF Lossiemouth. The town of Lossiemouth is here, by the way. Elgin is down here. My wife had a practice down there, and then the base here is Lossiemouth itself. Runway 23 is the main runway there, 2305. So I was based here at a squadron called 12 Squadron, 12 Bomber Squadron, and we had a little fox as our mascot, and we lived over this side here. If I'm just trying to orientate myself, those hangars there, there's the hardened aircraft shelter, and there's the runway. So yeah, this whole, they built some more buildings here, some like posher ones now I've left. But around this area was 12, and also around this area was a squadron called 15 Squadron. That was the operational conversion unit. Now, the reason I tell you this is because across the runway, you used to drive there in a little car to get across the runway. Over there was 617, and then to the north of that squadron there was 14 Squadron, if I'm correct, okay, because to be fair, I never used to go over that side of the airfield because that's where the losers lived. But we did go and visit 14 Squadron because 14 Squadron was the sister squadron of 12 Squadron, and 617 Squadron just a little bit weird, you know what I mean? So we used to go on detachment and we used to take people from 14 Squadron with us, and when 14 went away, they used to take people from 12, my own squadron, with them as well. All right, 617, they tend to go over by themselves because no one really liked them, you know what I'm saying? So you can see then I've got an affinity with 14 Squadron, and it's really sad to see this happening. Now, they don't fly Tornado GR4 anymore. They fly something called the Shadow R1. Now, my brother used to fly something similar, which is the King Air in effect, so I'm reasonably familiar with what happens. And they fly out of a place called Waddington, and we'll have a look at that in a second. Let's just have a look at what's actually happened then. So the Crusades, we know what those were: Christian Muslim wars, medieval era, blah 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 blah. Fine. 14 Squadron's history was closely linked to the Middle East, and we all knew this, of course. 14 were that squadron that had been over Palestine, Egypt, all that kind of Transjordan, all those kind of things. In fact, I think it was the Emir of Transjordan that had awarded them their motto. Daily Mail then gives us some more details. And here is the crest then. You can see that very familiar symbol there, and beneath it there is the Arabic here. I spread my wings and keep my promise. And it's taken from the Quran and appears in Arabic on the crest. That's what that says down there. It's a very proud squadron, very old squadron, hugely dignified squadron. Everyone in the Royal Air Force knows about 14. Let's just say that, shall we? But unfortunately, someone, the boss probably, has upheld a service complaint from one individual, and now they've had to remove everything referencing the Crusades from the entirety, not just the squadron, but we're talking the hardened aircraft shelters, we're talking all the hangarage, we're talking any reference throughout their entire history. Now, BBC's even picked on it. You know, that's how bad it really is. Let's just jump across and have a look at Waddington. And where this aircraft is based is in RAF Waddington. And we'll see now, Dutch Holland. What a legend. I've got a funny feeling Dutch was an ex-14 guy because I knew Dutch from long ago. I'm pretty sure he's a 14 GR mate, a nav up there. He's a good guy. You know, he's run to the base at Waddington. So I expect the person complained and it was upheld, I think, by the squadron boss, who I don't know who that is. I'm not that guy that's going to... But actually, Dutch would have lent in there a little bit and gone, really? We got to do that? You know what I mean? So Dutch. You know what I mean? Have a think about it, mate. This is ridiculous. You know what I mean? It is ridiculous. However, let's click on 14, and there's not much on 14, but you will notice when I click on them, something is actually missing. 14 Squadron based at RAF Waddington, hub of intelligence, surveillance, and target acquisition and reconnaissance, ISR. They help to defend a lot of things here. Look at this. Aircraft flown by 14 Squadron have included the Wellesley, Mosquito, Phantom, Jaguar, and they operate the Beechcraft Shadow R1. Tornado at all? It's ridiculous. And when actually it comes down here and it shows you the history, took part in Operation Granby in 91. They were re-equipped with Tornadoes in 1986, I believe. So they were flying Tornadoes in Granby. They don't even mention it, but you can see the battle honours down here. This whole page is a mess. Whoever's running 14, just square this shit away. It's not difficult. Just square it away. Be a bit proud of your history. Well, obviously not proud of your history, have you? Because you've just taken Crusades or the Crusader name away from your own squadron. Soy is what it is. People are drinking too much soy milk. That is a thing. Or you eat soy. I don't know. But eat some soy. Stop doing it. Get rid of veganism. Right. Okay. Okay, I've got a theory. My theory is that the world is now a matriarchy. So it's run by women, for women. Yep, okay, tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong.
Gen Z boss and a mini. Gen Z boss and a mini. Itty bitty titties and a bomb. Itty bitty titties and a bomb. 5'3" and an attitude. 5'3" and an attitude.
Funny thing is about this, isn't it? Women only really want this kind of equality thing when they're talking about power positions. If we said, oh, have equality by all means, go and work in oil rigs, go and dig roads, whatever it might be, they're not really interested, is it? Just want power and politics. I'm not having a go at women at all. All I'm saying is, and I'm not having a go at women per se, I'm having a go at effeminate, non-masculine behaviours. Because if someone came to me and said, Tim, I want to get rid of that word crusades, I'd be like, do you know how many people have defended and flown for this squadron and fought for this squadron, serviced these aircraft over the years, and you want to get rid of it? Look at this, 1915. The squadron was even active before the Royal Air Force was formed. And you want to get rid of a name of the squadron. Who the hell are you to tell the squadron that they've got to get rid of this name? This is absolutely ridiculous. I don't even want to go through this history here. It's so distinguished as a squadron. This squadron, you give up I'll tell you why it happened. I think you give up your fighter jet, you give up your attack aircraft, and then they fly these little King Air aircraft, and then they mess around with this shit, and it pisses me off. You shouldn't be touching this. You should be leaving this well alone. This is so above you. You're not even worthy to be on this squadron if you're going to question this kind of stuff. Honestly, right, okay, let's have another look, shall we? Briefly, let's talk about the problems within the Royal Air Force, because they are significant. And if we just go down here to the bottom of this page here, another significant area for concern is the lack of instructor pilots. At present, RF Valley hosts 75 Squadron and 25 and 4. I was on 4, of course, as instructor. And only has 60% of the instructors that they need. Now, if the job was so good, why are people not coming back? Now, I actually applied to rejoin the Air Force. I got a very nice letter back from Wing Commander saying, yeah, love you, have you back, mate. Absolutely love you. And I looked at all the terms. I'm thinking, do I want to go back into this where you've only got 60% of the instructors? There's a reason for that. It's because the Royal Air Force is not the Royal Air Force that I left. It's not really a fighting force. Remember, Mike Wigston wanted 40% women and 20% minorities in the Royal Air Force by 2030. Why? It's a good idea. It's just a good idea. Maybe you can get a place in the House of Lords or something. You are not manifesting this into an actual fighting force when you prescribe the quotas in that kind of... I'm not even going to go into this right now, but let's look at Twitter very quickly. And this was posted up by Michael Napier, who's written some fantastic books on 14 Squadron. I'll give you a link to them in a minute because they're probably going to get cancelled. I was incensed by your report that a senior RAF officer, probably the boss of 14 Squadron, has upheld a complaint by a single individual about 14 Squadron's nickname, Crusaders, which is now to be dropped. With help of my thesaurus, I would describe this decision as cowardly, pusillanimous, timorous, spineless, inept, and weak-kneed. It also raises question about the officer's fitness to command. Imagine a war situation in which really difficult choices had to be made. Dropping bombs on an enemy carries the risk of causing offence. What I want people to understand is the squadron, when you're on a squadron, it's not your squadron. So when you're the boss of the squadron, it's not yours. You're just there, you're a caretaker. It belongs to everyone that's been on the squadron before you. People fail to realise this. That's what upsets me so much about this kind of stuff. When people mess around with shit they know nothing about. Everything about this thing has happened before your time. So when you change things like this, the association, the 14 Squadron Association, must be absolutely livid with this. And as a 12 guy, a sister squadron of 14, I can tell you right now that the guys on 12 and 617 Squadron and 15 up at Lossiemouth will be behind you on this as well. And Michael Napier, if you want to get a great book on the history of 14 Squadron. Go and buy this, guys. Winged Crusaders. I bantered him about having to change the title. Mike's a great guy. Absolutely lovely bloke. The Exploits of 14 Squadron, Royal Flying Corps, Royal Air Force, 1915 to 45. Go and buy this book. It's a fantastic read. He's a lovely bloke as well, and he does so much for the association. It's absolutely fantastic. Guys, look, I just want to know what you think about this. Like, and here's the thing. Write to me about what you think the world is at the moment. Why are we doing this? It's almost like I've got this theory, and this theory I did kind of allude to earlier about the world being run by women or weak, effeminate men. I've got this theory. It's a small one, and I want you to comment on it and call me an idiot if you want to. People will go, Davies, you're an idiot, mate. Fair one. However, because women having children later now, or say couples are, in the early 30s, I believe, normally women from the age of about 18 onwards would be pregnant, they'd have kids, they'd have something to look after, and their matriarchal instincts, you know, they have to look after this baby and tend it. Because they're not doing that now, they've got the world to look after. So they place all this kind of, this care on the world, and normally that wouldn't happen. So in doing so, of course, we look at things like this, and I bet this was a bloody woman that did it, or it might have been a bloody man as well, I don't know, but either way, I'm sure someone that's got far too much time on their hands have done this. I don't believe this is a war fighter for a second. There's better things you could be doing than reaching in and trying to change these things. But I believe someone that, you know, should have been doing other things has probably gone and changed this name. And I don't know why those people are in the service personally. What the hell happened? Do you know what I mean? What the hell happened? They need guys like me back in. They need a standards officer to come back in to reset these standards. That's what they need. Guys, hit the comments. That's my theory anyway. I think the world's gone to rats. Of course it is. Of course it's gone to rats. Absolutely ludicrous. Hey, Tim Davies, Fast Jet Performance.